Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to you, sincere Akim, that are pushing this word around the globe with faith and truth and in sincerity. This is the brother Caleb from the GMS London Forecasters Camp, coming back at you with another lesson to hopefully edify the Lord's elect. As always, I'd like to start by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites. The real Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians and West Africans predominantly. However, you are going to get Israelites that do look like the other nations, because us Israelites as a people have been scattered amongst all people throughout our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, then you too are an Israelite no matter what you may look like. Because the book of Numbers chapter 1 and 18 states that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. Okay, so this isn't about what you look like on the outside. It's about your seed line and your spirit. Okay, so I want to do a quick lesson going into Sirach, the 6th chapter, talking about wisdom. And this is a very important book. I mean, all of the books in the Bible are very important, but me personally, I always find reading the book of Sirach or the book of Proverbs or Wisdom of Solomon, you know, these books contain a great amount of wisdom about all manner of situations that you may encounter in your everyday life. Now, when you actually start to apply the things that you learn in these scriptures, you can really see a lot about people and how they behave. You know, the Bible basically, you know, the scriptures say the word of the Lord is sharper than any two-edged sword. Let me get that quickly. Bear with me. Yeah, Hebrews 4 and 12. Let me just quickly jump there. Right, this is Hebrews the 12th chapter and the fourth chapter, Salakia. Hebrews 4 and 12, not Hebrews 12 and 4, Salakia. Hebrews 4 and 12, it says, "For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and of the marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart." Okay, so when you understand these words that are contained within this Bible and you start to apply them, you then become a discerner of people's thoughts and intents, and you can see what a person's meditating in their heart. You know, you can kind of read a person's spirit, you know, and the more you immerse yourself in this word, you know, study these scriptures and stay in the spirit, the more things you start to see through the spirit. So I want to go back to the chapter I was going to do a lesson on, which is about wisdom itself, which is Sirach. Where are we at? Was it Sirach 6 or 7? Yeah, this is the one I want. I'm just going to basically read this chapter. Okay, Lord willing, it's edifying. So, Sirach 6th chapter from the first verse. "Instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bullstring alone. Thou shalt eat up thy leaves and lose thy fruit, and leave thyself as a dry tree. A wicked soul shall destroy him that hath it, and shall make him to be laughed to scorn of his enemies. Sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair-speaking tongue will increase in kind greetings. Be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him." Now that's an important one, because this is actually one I've applied a lot in my own life. You know, back in the day when I was a young child, teenager type of stuff, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's my best friend and all this kind of stuff. But boy, ever since I think I was 21, no, 22, maybe 20, yeah, 20, 21, 22, around that time, that's when I started realizing, hey, you know what, man, you shouldn't be calling these people your best friend and stuff. Don't put these people on a pedestal, because ultimately a lot of these people are self-centered and wicked, and they'll only use you when it's convenient for you. But when you're in a time of need, they're nowhere to be found, because they weren't really friends. And this is an interesting thing, because I was talking to my mum, I think last week, and I was saying to her, look, you know what, man, we ain't even supposed to choose our own friends. Because in the world, you think you can choose your friends, but when you come into this truth, no, you don't get to choose anything, because there's no such thing as free will. What really should happen is, if you're in this truth, the Most High is going to bring you into the company of men that you should be keeping company with. For example, if you're in this truth, you should really be fellowshipping with other brothers in this truth. You know what I mean? Doesn't the scripture say, can two walk together lest they be agreed? You can't walk in, and the scriptures, so I'm roughly paraphrasing it, but there's another one. No man can serve two masters. For example, you can't be serving Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and also serving your friends in the world who don't believe in this truth and don't want to hear about this truth. Because you know what? If you keep associating with people in the world who A, don't care about this truth, and B, have no respect or reverence for the Bible and don't believe, all that's going to end up doing is quenching your spirit. It's going to quench your spirit, and it's going to put doubt in your own mind if you keep associating with these people. Because what you got to remember is everything is spiritual. Nothing is as it looks on the surface. Everything is spiritual. So, for example, this guy who you might have known back in the world, whose name might be Bob or Tim or whatever, and you went to school with him and stuff, and you try and tell him about this truth and he don't believe it, if you keep associating with that guy, the demon that's on that guy is going to keep trying to attack you spiritually by saying little things like, yeah, but the Bible ain't true. You don't really believe that, innit? Nah, God ain't real, all this kind of stuff. Do you really believe in Noah's Ark? Nah. How did Noah gather all the animals? How could he put every animal on the ark? Guys like that, all they're going to do is just slowly but surely keep eroding away at you. I'm going to use an example. If you go to a cliff where the sea's at, yeah, and you see the waves, they keep crashing against those rocks. If you watch it for 5 minutes, you'll just think, oh, the waves are just crashing against the rocks. But if you was to watch that for 50 years, you'd see gradually that edge of that cliff is being eroded and growing further back. Because over the time, that constant barrage of attacks from the waves hitting it is going to cause the rocks to erode away. And that's the same with your faith. Your faith is precious, and remember, faith is a gift. Now you've got to be if you're in a fight, if you're in boxing or whatever, you're supposed to cover your jaw, right? Cover your chin. You don't want to get hit on the chin, otherwise you could get knocked out. So it should be the same with your spiritual faith. You shouldn't be letting people roll up in your house and talk shit about the Bible, or roll up in your house and with a disbelieving ass. No, you cut those people off. And you know what you do? When you cut those people off, you're saying to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, look, I'm putting you first. Rather than, oh, I'm not going to talk about the Bible around Jim because he doesn't believe, but I'm still going to be friends with him. No, fuck that shit, man. Tell Jim to kick his ass to the curb. You kick Jim's ass to the curb, I should say. You know what I mean? You got to take a stand for this, man. What are you about? Because this is the spiritual battle. You know what I mean? You can't, James 4:4, ye adulterers and adulteresses, love not the world, for whosoever loveth the world is at enmity with the Most High, roughly paraphrasing. You know what I mean? So what are you doing for the Most High? What are you doing to take a stand for your faith? Are you letting these people who you thought were your friends who are in the world erode your faith? Why would you let them, let no man take your crown? Don't let them take your crown, man. So let me get back into this. It says, Sirach 6 and 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend of his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. There is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. And again, some friend is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. Just like Judas, if you remember what happened at the Last Supper, well, the Lord's Passover, Yahushai's Passover, Judas was a friend at the table, but he didn't continue with Yahushai. He got up and left and took his 30 pieces of silver and brought the high priest to arrest him. And he didn't continue with Yahushai after that, did he? It says again, some friend is a companion at thy table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in my prosperity he will be as thyself and will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee and will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thine enemies and take heed of thy friends. Going back to the point I was saying before, if you've got guys in the world who are talking shit about the Bible, and they don't believe in stuff, you need to take heed of these people because they're not your friends. Their enemies are the Most High. Yeah, they may be Jakes, they may be Israelites, but if they're of the 2/3, then that's their lot. If you're of the elect, you need to take a stand for this thing, and it starts with a little bit of house cleaning. You got to get your own house in order. You can't be having these people bringing all these wicked ass spirits up in your crib, talking shit and eroding your faith, man. Continuing on, separate thyself from thine enemies and take heed of thy friends. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such one have found a treasure. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. Like I said, man, if you believe in this thing 100%, you really should be doing your best to fellowship with like-minded individuals, not people who are going to put doubt in your mind or erode your faith or anything like that. You don't want to be around people like that, man. It says, nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord Yahushai shall find him. Whoso feareth the Lord Yahushai shall direct his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. Bang. That proves my point. As you are, so should your neighbor be also. If you're believing in his truth 100%, you believe in the 100% truth of the Holy Bible, the doctrine that's put forth by the elders and apostles of Great Millstone and us men down to today who are pushing this truth, believing in the names Yahweh and Yahushai. And if you're an Israelite, you ain't got no business associating with people in the world. Now, don't get it twisted. Obviously, if you go to the shop and someone says hello to you, okay, you say hello back or whatever. But what I'm saying is, if you've got friends in your close circle, like, maybe this guy comes over and visits you once in a while at your house, or you might go out, do stuff together, whatever. The more you grow in this truth, the more you're not even going to want to be around people like that if the spirit is on you. Because being around those people is going to become irksome to you. Because you're going to see their wicked ways, and you're going to see how unrepentant their asses are, and you're going to be like, you know what, man, I can't be myself around these people, because like when you come into this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you're going to be meditating on deeper things. Most of the people out here, they're meditating on folly. Basically, it's like, I put it this way, most adults, all they're doing is running around trying to chase the next high. Either the next time they get drunk, the next time they do drugs or smoke weed, or the next time they have an orgasm when they commit an adultery with somebody. That's all these people are on. They ain't on any deep level. They ain't thinking about how our people are destroyed and how we need to repent and turn back to the Lord. Their mind's not on that. They're lost in the world, and they're going to try and drag you down into that, or what do you call it, cesspit of filth with you. They're going to try and drag you back into the cesspit of filth that is the world. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. They're going to drag you back into the wicked world. And what is it? Is it that the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof? As I say, once you grow in this thing spiritually, you'll be able to be like, you're around people and you'll be like feeling, shit, man, this guy's spirit is filthy, man. You don't want to be around guys like that. Now, all our righteousness is indeed as filthy rags. But what I'm saying is, you're not going to... If you've just had a bath, why would you want to go and roll around in a mire with a pig? Because these people, they're just steeped in sin, steeped in wickedness, steeped in carnality. And once you become more spiritual, you'll be like, nah, man, your spirit's kind of chafing with my spirit. I'm trying to meditate on higher things, holy things, and all you're thinking about is the next time you can flipping commit adultery or do some other form of wickedness. So you shouldn't be around people like that if you're sincere in this truth. Now, as I say, obviously we use the word as not abusing it. So yeah, you can be cordial with these people, but at the end of the day, you need to have lines drawn. And if this person's going across certain lines, you need to be able to cut that off. That's part of the sacrifice, part of presenting your body as a living sacrifice, making sacrifices in this walk of faith. You know, most of the world is all about this gain mentality. Oh, I've got 500 friends on Facebook. Oh, I've got 2,000 followers on Twitter. They're all about gain. But when you come into this truth, you're going to lose. You're going to lose a hell of a lot. You're going to lose friends. You may lose your job. You may lose respect from family members and stuff. But that's part of enduring and fighting the good fight of faith. You know, you can't always live your life based on the opinions of people whose opinions don't even matter. The only people whose opinions matter are Yahweh Shai, and the other hopeful elect men in his truth. Other than that, everybody else technically is on a lower level than you. Like if you're trying to hang around with heathens, trying to fit in with Edomites, you know, I'd done that back in when I was in the world. You know, I had Edomite friends back in the day. I was trying to fit in with them. You know, you can only ever go so far because you're not like them. Same like if you're just trying to be friends with Elamites or Ishmaelites or Moabites. Yeah, you might be cool, but there's a point. And there's a point when these people, these heathens, they think they're above you. And as soon as you start to assert yourself, they're like, who the hell does he think he is? And then you start to see their true colours and how they really think about you, when all you wanted to do is try and be their so-called friend. Because Jake is very simple. Jake doesn't realise that he has enemies pertaining to Psalm 83rd chapter. Let's continue on. It says, Sirach 6:15, nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord Yahweh shall find him. Whoso feareth the Lord Yahweh shall direct his friendship aright. See, I just said that. For as he is, so shall his neighbour be also. My son, gather instruction from thy youth up, so thou shalt find wisdom till thine old age. Come unto her as one that plougheth and soweth, and wait for her good fruits. For thou shalt not toil much in labouring about her, but thou shalt eat of her fruits right soon. So you've got to be patient in this thing. And sometimes that's part of the test. For example, if you had friends and you think, you know, I'm going to cut all my friends off, you might be alone for a time. You might be alone for a month, 2 months, 3 months. But in due time, if you keep steadfast in this truth, the Most High will bring you into contact with men who are more fitting companions for you. And that's part of trusting in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and not trusting in your own mind and in your own vain opinion. Because what does Proverbs 3 and verse 5 say? I'm just going to quickly pull it up here. I'm not going to leave this chapter, just quickly quote it. Proverbs 3 and verse 5 says what? It says, trust in Yahweh with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. So you know what you've got to say? You've got to say, you know what, man, I'm going to trust in the Lord that he'll provide me with men who are fitting companions for me, rather than these wicked-ass people, these 2/3 Jake, or these other heathens in the world. Let's continue on. Come unto her as one that plougheth and soweth, and wait for her good fruits. For thou shalt not toil much in labouring about her, but thou shalt eat of her fruits right soon. She is very unpleasant to the unlearned. He that is without understanding will not remain with her. She shall lie upon him as a mighty stone of trial, and he will cast her from him ere it be long. So yeah, wisdom tries you, you know, and at first it's going to feel like a heavy stone on you. But if you bear with her, wisdom will start to show her fruits to you. It's like a woman, man. Imagine a really beautiful woman, the best looking woman you can imagine, yeah? And you're like, wow, I'd really like to talk to her. I'd really like to get to her. If that woman just walked straight up to you and bared all her fruits to you, just took off her clothes right in front of you, would you really respect her? You know what I'm saying? Because the spirit of wisdom is like the spirit of a woman. If you want to get close to her, you have to court her. There's that saying, you'd court the woman, you know, And I'm talking about in not in modern day terms where you take a woman out for dinner and you're basically paying for her to eventually drop her drawers for you. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about in the sincere way that, you would you would court the woman and get to know her, and obviously the marriage would be arranged, and on a due day you'd be married and you'd consummate the marriage. So wisdom is likened unto a woman in the scriptures. Sirach 6:22, for wisdom is according unto her name, and she is not manifest unto many. So yeah, a virtuous woman will be a woman of one husband. She's not going to be running around with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, manifesting herself to many, which is what the women of this world are doing, which is just ridiculous. But you know what I mean? Continuing on, 23, give ear, my son, and receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel. And put thy feet into her fetters, and thy neck into her chain. Bow down thy shoulder, and bear her, and be not grieved with her bonds. Come unto her with thy whole heart, and keep her ways with all thy power. Search and seek, and she shall be made known unto thee. And when thou hast got hold of her, let her not go. For at the last thou shalt find her rest, and that it shall be turned to thy joy. Then shall her fetters be a strong defence for thee, and her chains a robe of glory. For there is a golden ornament upon her, and her bands are purple lace. Thou shalt put her on as a robe of honour, and shalt put her about thee as a crown of joy. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught, and if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding, and if thou bow thy ear, thou shalt be wise. Stand in the multitude of elders, and cleave unto him that is wise. You know what that means? Follow the elders and apostles, a great millstone, first and foremost. But, if there's a camp and you see the brothers out there teaching, get unto them, listen to them, take notes, read along. And if you don't know a GMS camp around you, there's the YouTube. You can watch them on YouTube. Study to show yourself approved. Take notes. Listen to what the elders say. Be patient. And eventually wisdom will be manifested unto you. Well, if you're hearing this lesson now, this is the start of it, I guess. Or you're already on that journey, Lord willing. But it all starts with adhering to these scriptures. It says, if thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding, and if thou bind thy ear, thou shalt be wise. Stand in the multitude of elders, and cleave unto him that is wise. Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord Yahushua, and meditate continually in his commandments, and he shall establish thine heart, meaning thy mind, and give thee wisdom at thine own desire. So yeah, that's the lesson basically. Lord willing, it's been edifying. I could go on a bit further, going to other precepts and stuff, but I don't want to keep this one too long. So with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushua, B'Hashem Chachodash, double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone of all well. Shalom to you, Arkim, teaching this word of faith and truth and in sincerity. And on to the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom for now.